Marketing requires understanding a complex interplay of psychological factors. Nowhere is that more evident than in health buyers. You see, marketing a dietary supplement is different from marketing any other product. Marketing supplements isn't like selling other products. Health buyers think differently. They care more about trust. They worry about what goes on in their bodies. They need to believe a product works before buying. People buying supplements often feel skeptical. They've heard about scams. They want proof from people they trust. That's why personal recommendations work so well. Health shoppers research more than regular shoppers. They look for ingredients, they check reviews, they want to understand how things work. This fundamental difference stems from the unique psychology at play when consumers make health-related purchasing decisions. Let's unpack this in today's episode. Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. At the heart of supplement buying psychology lies a framework of 4 critical forces that work together to either drive or inhibit purchase decisions: trust, belief, hope, and desire. Unlike typical consumer products where standard marketing principles consistently apply, supplement purchases involve a delicate balance of these psychological forces that must be understood and addressed. Trust and belief act as both pulling and pushing forces in the supplement buyer's mind. They can either pull a prospect closer to making a purchase or push them away from it. The forces of trust and belief can both pull a prospect closer to the sale or push them away from it. Meanwhile, desire and hope function primarily as pulling forces that draw prospects toward making a purchase. However, these forces manifest differently across supplement categories and buyer segments, creating distinct psychological profiles that demand tailored marketing approaches. What makes this framework particularly valuable is understanding how these forces interact differently than in other product categories. When purchasing a shirt or a household item, consumers rarely struggle with the same depth of psychological barriers that accompany health decisions. The supplement purchase involves considerations about health outcomes and sometimes deeply personal insecurities or aspirations. These 4 forces build up over time across different dimensions, including functional, social, and emotional. Finding where emotion fits across these dimensions is key to making all forces work together to influence even a cold prospect to buy supplements online. The challenge for marketers is identifying which forces need strengthening for specific customer segments and products. Let's unpack how this applies to a few different supplement buyer segments. The first one we'll look at is weight loss buyers. Weight loss customers are probably the most complicated group in the supplement world. They're usually looking for a magic solution. They want that easy button more than any other type of customer. Every supplement market has a main emotion that works best for selling. For weight loss buyers, that emotion is shame. It's a powerful feeling that really drives buying decisions. That's why many successful weight loss video sales letters that convert led with shame and guilt before transitioning to the solution. These customers go through something we call the hope cycle. They've often tried lots of different products and failed. Their hope rises with each new product, then they feel disappointed when it doesn't work, and then they get hopeful again with the next promising solution. This makes them really respond to anything that sounds like a unique new approach. There's an important difference in how these customers think. Most weight loss buyers are trying to escape their current situation rather than working toward a positive goal. They're in low emotional states. They want to get away from a problem. They don't take responsibility. They have high expectations and aren't willing to deal with discomfort. This kind of motivation usually means higher initial sales, but also more refunds and unhappy customers. You might get fewer positively motivated people with your marketing, but one positive customer is worth 20 to 50 of the escape-focused ones. Setting realistic expectations is super important for building good relationships with weight loss customers. The best approach is to set realistic timelines, stress the importance of lifestyle changes, and position supplements as tools rather than complete solutions. You can't just take a dietary supplement while eating pizza and beer and expect to lose weight. Education is really important in this market. Now let's talk about a completely different type of customer, people buying athletic performance supplements. Athletic performance buyers think totally differently from weight loss customers. These are people buying creatine and pre-workouts and post-workouts. They're already hitting the gym and have self-discipline. They're mainly comparing your supplements to other brands. You're not so much as getting these prospects to buy as opposed to getting them to switch to your supplement. Athletic performance buyers are usually comparing supplements against products they already use, rather than trying something completely new. It's more about switching costs. This means your marketing needs to focus on comparative advantages rather than revolutionary claims. This creates a different buying psychology. For athletic performance buyers, belief and trust are usually stronger from the start. Their desire is more practical, and their hope is tied to specific performance goals rather than total life transformation. These customers analyze ingredients and dosages very carefully. A pre-workout person is comparing how many milligrams of one ingredient versus another versus what they currently take. This changes how you should structure your marketing content with more focus on specific ingredient benefits, scientific evidence, and transparent information about your formula. The self-discipline factor really affects customer satisfaction and reviews in this market. Performance-focused customers usually follow the directions, exercise consistently, and have realistic expectations about results. This creates more consistent outcomes and fewer negative reviews, making this segment generally more profitable despite potentially higher customer acquisition costs. Building credibility with performance-focused customers requires different approaches. Third-party testing, sports-specific research, and endorsements from respected athletes or coaches usually matter more than general testimonials or before and after pictures. These customers value specificity and precision in both product formulation and marketing claims. Let's shift gears and talk about the trust paradox in supplements. Trust works in a unique way when marketing supplements. It can work both ways in a buyer's mind. Trust can push people away from a common enemy like Big Pharma and toward your brand. Our trust can push prospects away from your product if they don't believe your claims. The supplement industry has historical trust problems that still affect consumer psychology today. Back in 2009, it was a disaster. Anyone could sell anything. This history of questionable products and exaggerated claims creates natural skepticism that all supplement marketers have to overcome, no matter how good or honest their product is. Building trust requires multiple approaches tailored to specific customer groups. Some buyers trust you when you're transparent about ingredients and manufacturing. Others respond more to third-party testing and certifications. Still others rely on endorsements from authorities or testimonials from people like themselves. You can even build trust around your offer terms. For example, being clear about how a subscription program works builds trust not just by stating the terms, but by positioning those terms as benefits without promising too much. Credibility markers play crucial roles in establishing trust, but these vary significantly across supplement categories. Sometimes credibility comes from a doctor spokesperson. In other cases, it's a celebrity influencer or micro-influencer that connects with your audience. The key is matching credibility signals to the specific audience rather than using a one-size-fits-all approach. Converting skepticism to confidence means addressing the specific trust barriers in each customer segment. For weight loss customers, setting realistic expectations builds trust. For performance supplements, showing specific mechanisms of action and evidence creates credibility. For general wellness products, how long you've been in business and your reputation often matter most. Now let's explore how different types of supplement buyers think and act. The supplement market has remarkably distinct customer groups with different psychological profiles, decision processes, and values. The people who buy essential oils are completely different from people who buy performance supplements, who are completely different from people into brain supplements, who are completely different from the longevity crowd. These segments don't just differ in what products they like, but in how they make health decisions. All these different crowds think differently, act differently, have a different mindsets, and respond differently to different stories. This fragmentation creates both challenges and opportunities for marketers trying to connect with specific audiences. Gender creates another important psychological dimension in supplement purchasing. Men and women think and buy very differently. These differences show up in decision timelines. Women typically research more extensively. Women often rely more on social proof, and they show up in emotional drivers. Men frequently respond more to performance claims, while women often prioritize overall well-being. Age-related concerns significantly influence buyer psychology across supplement categories also. This age awareness creates specific psychological receptivity to certain messages and mechanisms that validate age-related concerns. Interestingly, the same person might behave differently when buying different types of supplements. A consumer might be very analytical when purchasing protein powder, but make more emotional decisions about anti-aging supplements. This psychological flexibility requires marketers to consider both the product category and customer segment when crafting messages. Matching marketing approaches to demographic and psychological profiles requires sophisticated segmentation beyond basic demographics. Understanding which buying forces need strengthening for specific segments allows for precision targeting that addresses the exact psychological barriers preventing purchases in each customer group. Let's dive into understanding what really motivates supplement customers. Desire is a fundamental force in supplement purchasing psychology, but it works differently than in many other product categories. Desire alone can often have no driving force to motivate action. This explains why many supplement campaigns with strong desire elements still fail to convert effectively. Great copywriters understand that copy cannot create a desire for a product. It can only take the hopes, dreams, fears, and desires that already exist in the hearts of millions of people and focus those already existing desires onto a particular product. This is why effective supplement marketing focuses on expressing existing health desires rather than trying to create new ones. Describing problems in ways that connect emotionally creates the foundation for effective desire activation. You might say something like, it helps dilate arteries and increase circulation. Circulation impacts blood pressure, heart health, and more. This language connects to existing concerns while framing them in relation to the solution. Without additional psychological forces, desire lacks the motivating energy in a supplement buying decisions. The desire to lose 15 pounds may exist in the prospect, but desire by itself has no energy or force behind it for the typical dietary supplement buyer. They may desire it, but aren't willing to do anything differently from their current lifestyle to achieve it, so they won't buy it. Connecting product benefits to deeply held personal aspirations creates a stronger desire that works with other buying forces. This often means going beyond surface-level benefits, like losing weight, to deeper emotional outcomes, like feeling confident at your reunion or keeping up with your grandchildren. These emotional connections amplify desire's pulling force toward purchase decisions. Lifestyle alignment plays a crucial role in desire development for supplement customers. When products appear to fit with a customer's existing or desired lifestyle, desire strengthens. This explains why lifestyle imagery, aspirational messaging, and identity-based marketing often work well in supplement categories where lifestyle considerations are prominent. Let's talk about how existing beliefs affect supplement purchases. Existing belief systems powerfully influence supplement purchasing decisions, often in ways that customers themselves don't consciously recognize. Belief is the energy that drives what they are already doing. It pulls them toward their current reality. This is what the prospect already believes about themselves and their situation. Customer beliefs can either help or block supplement purchases, regardless of how effective the product actually is. When marketing messages align with existing beliefs, they meet minimal resistance. When they challenge established beliefs, even incorrect ones, they typically generate strong psychological resistance that prevents conversion. You can activate belief through specific language like diet and exercise play a large role in stimulating the natural production of these compounds, as well as foods that are high in dietary nitrates, like spinach and beetroot. This statement acknowledges and reinforces existing beliefs about nutrition while establishing a foundation for introducing the supplement. Education plays a critical role in modifying limiting beliefs without triggering resistance. Successful supplement brands often use content marketing approaches that gradually shift beliefs through repeated exposure to new information. We send a tips email every Sunday with as much valuable content as we can. This educational approach slowly modifies belief structures in ways that direct challenges cannot. Leveraging prospects' existing belief structures to build credibility is a sophisticated psychological approach. Rather than contradicting current beliefs, effective supplement marketing connects new concepts to established belief systems. This creates cognitive consistency that makes new information and products more acceptable. When trust is aligned with the inner beliefs of your prospects, you're on your way to building enough force for them to buy. Now let's explore how hope drives supplement purchases. Hope functions as a primary psychological motivator in supplement purchasing decisions, particularly for categories addressing health concerns rather than performance enhancement. Hope is intrinsically connected to the outcome the prospect wants. It pushes the prospect toward your dietary supplement as the solution through the unique mechanism. The psychology of the unique mechanism plays a crucial role in creating hope for supplement prospects. The unique mechanism is what's been missing from all the other solutions they have tried or are thinking about trying to achieve their desire. It's what gives them hope that it will work for them this time. This insight explains why supplement marketing frequently emphasizes proprietary formulations, novel ingredients, or unique delivery systems. Previous disappointments significantly impact hope in the supplement context. Many consumers have tried multiple products without achieving the desired results, creating skepticism that must be overcome. This experience makes the hope force particularly fragile and in need of support through multiple credibility elements. Those weight loss customers are just yo-yoing from one thing to another, hoping an external thing will solve their problem. Building legitimate hope without crossing into false promises requires careful message calibration. You might say something like, "Unfortunately, in today's world of refined foods, These options may not be enough, especially for those over 40 when natural levels begin to decline. This statement creates hope by identifying a specific mechanism that explains previous disappointments without making unrealistic claims. Age-specific hope factors create particularly powerful psychological motivators. The natural decline in various physiological functions with age creates hope-receptive mindsets for solutions that address these specific concerns. Effective supplement marketing often acknowledges these age-related challenges while offering hope through specific mechanisms that might compensate for natural processes. Let's talk about how commitment and consistency affect supplement buying. The psychological principle of commitment and consistency creates powerful effects in supplement purchasing behaviors. In one test, breaking the buying decision into smaller steps increased subscription rates by 23.53%. The first step asked for a commitment from the visitor. Initial small commitments create momentum toward larger purchasing decisions through psychological mechanisms that drive consistency. The important thing was that by clicking any button, they were psychologically committing to themselves by taking that button click action. This small action created a self-perception of commitment that influenced subsequent subscription decisions. The multi-step process leveraged consistency by following the commitment with aligned purchasing options. After the visitor committed to their health by clicking in step 1, they were then asked to be consistent with that commitment by choosing a package option in step 2. This structure creates internal psychological pressure to maintain consistency between the initial commitment and subsequent choices. Subscription models represent a natural expression of the consistency principle in supplement marketing. By establishing an initial product relationship and then offering consistent delivery through subscription, brands leverage the psychological desire for behavioral consistency. The pre-selection of subscription options further utilizes this principle by establishing subscription as the default consistent choice. Let's explore subscription psychology more deeply. Transitioning customers from trial to ongoing commitment requires understanding distinct psychological factors that influence subscription decisions. While initial purchases often respond to hope and desire, subscription choices typically require stronger trust and belief forces to overcome commitment concerns. Different value propositions must be established for subscription versus one-time purchases. The entire section about how the subscription program works is all about building trust for the terms of the offer. This dedicated focus on subscription-specific value and trust recognizes the different psychological barriers present in subscription decisions. The foundation for long-term relationships gets established through both the initial product experience and how the subscription itself is framed. And what you're really talking about is more of a lifetime value of the customer, keeping them for the journey of their health. This journey-oriented framing creates psychological continuity between initial purchase and ongoing subscription. The 4 buying forces manifest differently in subscription decisions. While initial purchases may rely heavily on hope and desire, successful subscriptions typically require stronger trust and belief components. The security of knowing you can cancel, confidence in consistent product quality, and belief in ongoing benefits become more important than the initial emotional drivers. Continuity between initial purchase and ongoing subscription requires thoughtful psychological bridging. This might include explicitly connecting the commitment made when first purchasing with the consistency of maintaining a subscription. Without this continuity, many customers view the initial purchase and subscription as separate decisions rather than natural extensions of the same health commitment. Now let's talk about moving customers through their health journey. Successful supplement brands recognize that customer needs and psychology evolve over time, creating opportunities to guide customers through a progressive health journey. We can transition people from losing weight to taking supplements that will help them keep it off. The transformation from acute concerns to wellness orientation represents a significant psychological shift that brands can facilitate. About 30 to 40% of our weight loss customers become good long-term customers. This transition typically involves shifting from problem-focused psychology, dominated by hope and desire, to maintenance-focused mindsets, where trust and belief play larger roles. Building the what's next pathway beyond initial goals requires foresight and customer education. Our approach is to help them lose the weight, but then give them the what next, because too many people who achieve their weight loss goals don't have a what next, and so they go back to their old habits and put the weight back on. This next step orientation creates continuity in the customer relationship beyond the initial goal achievement. The psychological shift from problem-focused to maintenance-focused supplement usage involves different motivational drivers. Initial purchases often respond to emotionally charged away from messaging about eliminating problems, while maintenance products typically require towards messaging about preserving gains and enhancing well-being. Understanding this psychological transition enables more effective marketing for subsequent products. Creating complementary product pathways aligned with customer evolution builds upon established trust and belief. And then we take the same elements that help people lose weight and we put them into our multi, for example. This approach creates natural progression paths that leverage existing psychological forces while introducing new products. Let's explore different marketing approaches for different customer types. Content strategies must align with the psychological profiles of different buyer segments. Educational content typically resonates more strongly with positively motivated customers who take responsibility for their health, while emotional content often connects better with escape-motivated buyers seeking solutions to problems. The distinct psychological difference between these two types of customers requires fundamentally different messaging frameworks. Does your copy offer to lift someone up out of a hole or pain, or does it invite them to climb up towards a goal above them? This orientation difference affects everything from headline approaches to imagery selection to how you phrase your call to action. Creating segment-specific stories that resonate with core emotions requires understanding the psychological makeup of each audience. The athletic performance customer responds to achievement narratives, while weight loss customers often connect with transformation stories, and longevity-focused buyers respond to preservation themes. These story structures align with the dominant emotional drivers in each segment. Channel preferences often reflect psychological profiles, with different customer segments naturally gravitating toward specific platforms and communication methods. The people who buy essential oils are completely different from people who buy performance supplements. These differences extend to where and how these segments prefer to receive information and make purchases. Building segment-appropriate proof elements requires matching evidence types to psychological profiles. Performance-focused buyers typically respond to scientific studies and specific mechanism explanations, while transformation-seeking customers often find before and after testimonials more compelling. Longevity-focused buyers frequently value expert endorsements and institutional credibility. These differences reflect the distinct trust-building requirements of each segment. Finally, let's talk about applying this buyer framework to your marketing decisions. Diagnosing which buying forces need strengthening in specific campaigns provides a structured approach to improving marketing effectiveness. By evaluating current materials against the four forces framework, marketers can identify psychological gaps that may be preventing conversion. For instance, a campaign might have a strong desire for activation, but insufficient trust elements to overcome skepticism. Balancing emotional and rational appeals for different market segments requires understanding which psychological levers drive decisions in each group. While some supplement categories respond primarily to emotional messaging, others require stronger rational components to activate belief and trust. The most effective approaches typically include elements addressing all four forces, but with different emphases based on the specific audience. Using the framework to audit existing marketing for psychological gaps creates opportunities for targeted improvements. By systematically evaluating how well current marketing addresses each of the four forces for a specific audience, brands can identify precise weaknesses to address. This structured approach often reveals that minor adjustments to strengthen a single force can significantly improve overall conversion. Creating customer personas based on the four forces framework provides more actionable insights than traditional demographic approaches. Understanding which forces dominate decision-making for different customer types allows for more precise messaging development. These psychologically grounded personas help ensure that marketing addresses the specific barriers most relevant to each segment. Testing approaches that address specific psychological forces create more meaningful insights than generic testing. Hypothesis-driven testing focused on specific psychological principles like commitment and consistency produced a 23% increase in subscription conversions. This targeted approach to testing creates more valuable learning than simple layout or copy variations. The supplement buying framework provides a comprehensive structure for understanding the complex psychology behind health purchasing decisions. By recognizing how trust, belief, hope, and desire interact differently across customer segments, supplement marketers can craft more effective approaches that address the specific psychological needs of their audiences. If you found this episode helpful, drop me a line. There's a link in the comments of this podcast to text me, or you could just email me at Bobby, BOBBY, @creativethirst.com. Creative Thirst is a direct response digital agency. We work with dietary supplement companies who are struggling to maximize the profitability of their funnels so they can scale. We've optimized many dietary supplement businesses. And in that time, we've uncovered the 3 critical funnels for success. You can get that free report by going to creativethirst.com. Scroll down to the appropriate section and click on the blue Get Your Ebook button.